So in this video, I'm going to get rid of first and second person case and transform this paper into third person case. But when you use first person and second person case, it's too conversational, and when you use third person case, it's much more professional. So here we go. So this person started with an excellent thesis statement. Starting school at 8:30 a.m. is a bad idea because starting later teaches youth to be lazy, teaches youth they can stay up later, and parents have to go to work by 8 o'clock, which can inconvenience parents on providing a better life for their child. So the first mistake here is starting a sentence with a subordinate conjunction, which. So here there should be a comma instead of a period. He also needs to put in 5 extra sentences on top of his thesis statement to give his thesis statement context, because an introduction paragraph has a hook, 5 background sentences, and then the thesis statement. Starting school later teaches youth to be lazy. So he did a good job in connecting his topic sentence with his thesis statement. So here you have starting school later is a bad idea because it teaches youth to be lazy, and then he repeats the topic sentence in his body paragraph. So you need to have a thesis statement with matching topic sentences. Starting school later teaches youth to be lazy in the real world, and then he needs a comma after in the real world, because when we put a preposition as an introductory phrase, we always use a comma. So in the real world, comma, kids will have to be able to adapt to getting up early. Jobs are not going to work around how you feel. Okay, so here you got to get rid of you, second person case. So jobs don't revolve around how people feel. So therefore you have to replace you and your with people. Then you got to get rid of first person case. I feel that our state government should leave the school scheduling to the schools. So you just get rid of I feel and our, and you just simply say state government should leave the school scheduling to the schools. That's it. And you get rid of I feel that our. A lot of students now do not understand structure and organization. Kids today, and then you get rid of I learned. Kids today do not learn to be responsible as kids in the past. Then you get rid of I feel that, because that's first person case. So kids today are not as responsible as kids in the past because social media has taken over and allowed kids to be lazy, and instead of learning how to research information for themselves, to be able to learn how to be more efficient without having to rely on everyone else. Starting school later encourages students to stay up later partying because of social media. This past school year was a rough one. TikTok has created so many issues with students in this world today. Then you get rid of and I feel that. Starting school later and allowing kids to arrive early without supervision will only create a bigger problem. Then you get rid of what I've noticed is that. And then you just write, when kids have time on their hands, they get bored. Write out your contraction, they are. Kids, so instead of saying they, you have too many pronouns in a row. So you have to say kids get bored and begin to use social media as a way to entertain their own thoughts. And this can become destructive. And then you get rid of I have, one of the main reasons I have an issue with. This is the reason why starting school later is a bad idea. So you just get rid of I have an issue with. As for the simple fact that students will not be responsible enough to realize they have to get up early in the morning to study for school, comma instead of a period, which creates problems such as getting up late and not being prepared for the next day. And then you get rid of I have seen students, and then you get rid of the first person case I have seen. Students that stay up so late, or students staying up late, do not come to school until lunchtime. Then you get rid of I believe we're. So here you would say students staying up late do not come to school until lunchtime, which creates problems, which creates many problems. And then we get rid of where we do not need to create a problem. So we would get rid of first person case we. The solution for these problems are to have great communication between the community and the school. Starting school later inconveniences parents who have to be at school by 8 o'clock, who have to be at work by 8 o'clock in the morning. How is this situation going to help our parents? So you're going to get rid of our, because that's first person case. How is this situation going to help parents who are trying to provide a better life for their children, or who have to drive really far for a job? The parents' work life will not change, so we got to get rid of we. So here we would say that starting school later inconveniences parents who have to be at work by 8 o'clock. And the parents' work life is what provides money for the students, for the children. So starting school later at 8 o'clock, later than 8 o'clock, is not a good idea. And so therefore, the parents' work life should be more important than starting school late. So you get rid of all of the I do feel, okay? And then they will have, because starting school later will cause parents to drop off their kids at school, not knowing if someone's able to make sure the kids are safe while they're at school, which creates other problems. Some parents haven't even thought of changing their work schedule to maybe at night, or losing out on a promotion. And then here, get rid of which I don't feel is fair. So you get rid of the first person case, and you just get rid of all of this. Anything to do with I, you get rid of it, and you can replace it with people. Okay, so you could say some parents have even thought of changing their work schedule to maybe working at night if it's possible, and maybe losing out on a promotion. And then you get rid of I don't feel, which is not fair to the parents. And then here you get rid of I express this deeply because I know from my own experience. So you want to get rid of all of the first person case for a more professional tone. And so you would have to say something like, employees who work for a school district find it very frustrating if school starts later because it would inconvenience the parents and teach students to be lazy. And students who get up later won't come in until lunchtime. Another issue with starting school later, so you get rid of another issue I have with. So you would say another issue with starting school later is it creates problems with traffic control in the morning as you have parents struggling to get to work. And you get rid of you. In conclusion, and then you get rid of I wrote how I feel. So in conclusion, school hours changing affects both students and parents. Then you get rid of I truly do not understand the meaning behind I feel it is. Okay, you're going to get rid of all of the I, and then you're going to just summarize the highlights of your paper using third person case. So you would summarize the facts. So in conclusion, starting school later is a bad idea because it inconveniences the work schedules of parents. It teaches students to be lazy because they get to get up earlier in the morning. And parents need to teach their kids not to spend all night on social media. So starting school on time at 8 a.m. teaches young people to get up early and teaches young people discipline so that when young people become adults, they become used to getting up early to get to work. So that would be your conclusion. So you get rid of I, me. And the only reason why we want to get rid of first person case and second person case is when we write to friends and family, then we use first and second person case. And we use casual, informal English. When we write to our boss or to our teacher at school, we use a third person case for a more professional tone. And we always use formal English when we are writing to our teacher at school or to our boss. So for this paper, you have good essay structure. You just need to replace all of your first and second person case with third person case for a more professional tone. If you have any questions, you can feel free to email me.